and faculty advisor to embark towards the journey of developing legal awareness among students and scholars, to organize various webinars as well as competition to push the legal mindset of scholars, to make them aware of their legal profounding. Founder Vivek Dixit, co-founder Advocate Arvind Kumar, coordinator Dr. Anjana Singh, faculty advisor Advocate Sir Syed Anwar Alam. Now we are having four panels. In each panel we are having four judges. First panel we are having Kushagra sir and Ayushi ma'am. Second panel we are having Rajdev sir and Vinay sir. For third panel we are having Prashant sir and Kursh sir. For fourth panel we are having Anjana ma'am and Adarsh sir. Now I would like to ask Ashruti to tell the rules of the debate.
Good afternoon, everyone. Myself Ashwati Patel here to tell the debate's rules and regulations. First rules are participants will speak for the motion or against the motion. The team Lawlicious will decide the stance. All participants will be given a unique participation code allotted by the team Lawlicious. Participants are requested to hide their identity during the competition. Each participant will have 5 minutes to speak. You will have 15 seconds at the end to sum up your arguments. If you want a rebuttal round, you need to inform the judges before the preliminary round. An indicator will be given after 5 minutes. Exceeding the 5-minute limit will lead to a deduction of points. So please adhere to the time limit. The participant's video must be turned on throughout the event. Reading from paper while debating can affect the result of the participants. Offensive, personal, and defamatory expressions will not be accepted under any circumstances. The event head may call to order any person using such expressions. Participants must have a proper internet connection, a web camera, and a working microphone for clarity. The participants are requested to join the meeting 10 minutes before the commencement of the competition. Participants are requested to enter the meeting using the following formats for their name, the team name, and the participant's name. Thank you. Participants can take their time to from 2:15 we will start the competition. They must join with a proper internet connection and a web camera. Now everyone will join in their respective panels. The link will be sent in their respective panels. So please leave everyone. Thank you.
Child to start with is an individual who is still a child, immature, and lastly bound to make mistakes. In India, an adult is a person over 18 years, where 18 years is the age where a person can be considered for the things which he or she has done. In India, the age of the person are becoming the measuring unit of the crimes for crimes committed by crimes committed by two other persons. In India, age of the person considered rather than the brutality committed by them both. When we talk about the crime and justice act under juvenile, it is almost impossible to ignore the infamous case Nirbhaya case 2012, where there were 6 culprits, one of them being a minor at the time of the incident. We can witness the disability of the justice, where after the lots of struggle for order to be hanged till death, while the minor sentenced under Juvenile Justice Act for maximum sentence of only 3 years and sent to the rehabilitation home. After that, he was also given an amount of 10,000 rupees within swing machine for start his new life. How can our justice system can accord that types of person preferential treatment for the crime for which other person can be hanged till death or can be sentenced for the maximum punishment? Prevention is better than cure. If in Pune accident case, culprits' parents do not make any kinds of mistakes, like they change the evidence and they try to help their child, and also the system court system justice juvenile act, they also help to save his life. If we do not act accordingly of their act, they will be more and more in future commits that types of crime. The system really thinks that murder and rape can be committed without culprit putting thought into it, without the maturity of the person. It can't be acceptable that this types of juvenile commits the crime. and get away with it easily. After the 3 year of imprisonment, can reform the culprit, and change the culprit in a normal citizen like we. It is unacceptable that the youth who commit such crimes are criminals. Their age should not matter or can get away from their punishment. If we do not act accordingly, there more and more individuals commit crimes. We can't speak out loud about that. For the heinous crimes like murder, rape, assault, kidnapping, and other like sexual offences, mm, if they bestows cruelty upon innocent people and snatch their fundamental rights, they should be accountable. Same for the such as adults. We understand that the court trying to help the children because it considers that children cannot save their fundamental rights, cannot they are not able to save their fundamental rights. That's why the court system are helping them. In Juvenile Justice Act 2015, in which it considered that the age group of 16 to 18 will be treated as adult if they commit the heinous crimes. But this act is still not passed. Their punishment is not more than 3 years. Sir, bas, that's it.
Okay, Navya Mishra.
Can you imagine waking behind the closed walls and bars, seeing your inmate who is 45-year-old robber and you who are a 14-year-old had committed such a big mistake? Good afternoon to esteemed judges, Lawlicious team and all my dear friends. I am here speaking against the given topic. Should juvenile offenders be tried and sentenced as adults for serious crimes? From my point of view, they shall not be treated as adults because juveniles have a lack of maturity, they are not well and fully developed, and they do not have enough mens rea to commit crimes. Juveniles are less able to understand the consequences of their actions and that they must be given a chance to reform and change their ways. As we all know, adult criminal justice system, that is Indian courts, are not well equipped to provide education to young offenders. The juvenile justice system is designed to provide better environment and safety to juveniles, whereas adult criminal justice system is primarily focused on giving punishment. Consequences of trying juvenile as an adult must have a devastating impact on their future. A criminal record might limit the ease of job opportunities given to juveniles, and it will make it difficult for them to get reintegrated into the society. The main goal of juvenile justice system is to provide education and rehabilitation to young offenders. There are various provisions under Indian laws that are provided to ensure the protection of juveniles. The very first one is Article 39F Clause 10 of Constitution of India 1950 that stipulates that children must be given a chance to they must be given a chance and they must be insured against misuse and material relinquishment. Section 82 of Indian Penal Code 1860 and Section 20 of Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita 2023 provides that nothing is an offence committed by a child. Section 27 of Criminal Procedure Code provides that any individual who at the date of appearing before the court is under 16 years of age must not be culpable with death or forever detainment. The Juvenile Justice Act was also passed in year 2000 to ensure the protection for juveniles. The principal target of the act was to guarantee that no person under 18 years shall be held up in prisons. There is a very famous case of Mukesh and other versus State for NCT Delhi, which is famously called Nirbhaya case and Delhi gang rape case. In this, there was a 23-year-old medical student who was returning from her from movie with her friend, she took a bus. There she was brutally assaulted and raped by six people. They threw her out after being raping, and she was naked when thrown out. She died in Singapore hospital while treatment. In this case, there were six accused who committed heinous and brutal crimes such as rape. They were given a death penalty by its Honorable Supreme Court, but the sixth member was a juvenile and he was sent to Juvenile Justice Board for rehabilitation. Since government has made such laws for the protection and safety of juveniles, so trying juveniles as adults must have a negative impact on their life because they have a greater chance of rehabilitation if they are tried through juvenile justice courts. They literally lack the neurology to know better, and the age till 18 years is of juvenile and they are prone to make mistakes. Hence, they must not be tried as adults. Thank you.
Navya, please tell us something. Uh, what do you think the offender age under the Nirbhaya was juvenile? What was his age at the time of committing of the offense?
Sir, he was near to 18 years.
Okay. So now tell me, you in your sentence self stated that the girl was thrown out of the bus naked.
Yes, sir.
Now tell me this thing, is it not enough to treat a person under the not under juvenile justice who has uh, proper understanding that what he is committing is an offense, is a heinous offense. Why should he not be treated as an adult?
Sir, government has made such laws like Juvenile Act was passed in 2000 and the Juvenile Act was considered in 2015, which tell us that 16 to 18 years must be treated as an adult. But that act is not still passed.
Here, here I'm talking about your opinion
Yes, sir.
whether that person should he be treated as an adult or not.
Sir, he should not be treated because at
Why?
the time of punishment he was not a adult. He was a
I am
juvenile.
here here the it is not about the age. I'm talking about the intention, the offense which is he committing. If a
So
person
maybe he was.
as we all know that for committing an offense, men's is very important.
Yes, sir. But maybe he was
So
pressurized by five of members who were there in the rape case. There must be
did
many
you
consequences.
have you read his judgment of the FIR?
No, sir, I have read just the judgment of Supreme Court. It has given death penalty to six of them. But sixth member was juvenile and he was sent to correctional home.
Okay, okay, Navya.
Thank you, sir.
Both of the participant, anyone here is gonna take a rebuttal.
No, sir.
Rajesh, if you have any questions, sir, you can ask.
Yes. I have a question from Siddhi Sharma.
क्या सर?
I have a
Shidi, please
question.
open your camera.
Siddhi, are you listening?
Yes, sir.
Siddhi, I have a simple factual question. When you were researching about the Juvenile Justice Act, right? You
Yes, sir.
went through the Juvenile Justice Act 2015 also and its latest amendment. Along with that, you
Yes, sir.
also read about the theoretical things of the juvenile justice. Can you remember any two landmark cases of juvenile justice?
Yes, sir. Sakti Mills gang rape case in which there was seven individuals. Two of them was a minor. And same as
Okay.
Nirbhaya case, this is also the juvenile related act.
All right. Okay, Siddhi. I have one question from Navya Mishra. Okay, Siddhi.
Yes, sir.
Uh, do you remember any latest amendment in the Juvenile Justice Act?
Sir, I think it was of 2015 only.
Is there any amendment which took place in the last 2 3 years?
No, sir.
Okay. Okay, Siddhi and Navya, do you have any questions for each other for the purpose of rebuttal round?
No, sir.
All right.
Nazmi at the next slot now.
Today I am going to speak in the favor of the notion that juvenile justice crime should be treated as same as the adult's crime. So first of all, I would like to inform everyone that juvenile justice crime
Vidushi,
are
turn
the
on the
crime.
camera. Vidushi, turn on your camera, please.
Sorry, sir. Yes, sir. Good afternoon. So, first of all, I would like to inform everyone that juvenile justice or the juvenile crimes are those crimes which are done by the children who are less than 18 years old. But, sir, if we see in the today's society that the most heinous crimes are somehow done by the children who are going to become the next youth. As we see, so many times in our history, from around the 1990 case 1990s till now, we have seen many children who has changed the definition that the children are now that children are the incarnations of God. So in 2012, there was one case which is known as the Nirbhaya case. So in this, a 16-year-old child has done such a heinous thing to an anyone, which changed the history and the definition of everyone, which defined us that children are also capable of doing the most heinous things in our society. Not only that, sir, but if we see in our recent Porsche case, then it was a 16 or 17-year-old boy who was drunk and was responsible for killing two engineers who were innocent and were going to do so many achievable things. So for sir, as a law student, let us imagine, as I sometimes imagine, that if any loved one was at the place of those people who are the victim of these juvenile crimes, then what would happen? So not only because, sir, if we see that our loved ones are and sir, if one yes, and hold so many values to us, but sir, for some people, because of their um, mental sickness, or I don't know what to call it, because of them we lose them. Sir, in there is one case in Japan which is also known as 49 days case, which is all it popularly, and in reality it is known as the murder case of Juneko Fureta. I yes, sir. So in this case, there was one girl who was Juniko. She was a school going girl. She was very brilliant, popular, kind, and all. But sir, she was brutally raped by four children just because she rejected one boy of her class who was in the not so good activities. If we say were in were a member of a syndicate or a gang type, sir, and for 49 days she was brutally raped, tortured. Her skin was burned and not her bones were broken and many things. Sir, and all these things were done by 16 or 17-year-old children. Sir, if the thing is if that level of heinous things are done by a 16 or 17-year-old children, then I do really have the question from the judiciary that are you sure that the children are still innocent, that they have the eligibility to get reformed in the future? Because if they can destroy the life of someone, not only one person but the whole family of that person, just by taking their loved one away from there in such brutal way, can then evoke the guilty in them, the guilt in them that they have done such a wrong thing. And sir, in and after this crime, sir, this which happened in around 1980s, to be exact 1988, sir, the Japan government changed the juvenile crime cases age to from 16 to 14. So then, if we see in our Indian society where we treat children as the incarnations of God, we say that children are the most innocent beings. So not only that, but our Indian society teaches us that females are the goddesses, and not only that, sir, but we also teach our male boys children that we should always give respect to females. So there they do such heinous level of crimes that are popularly known as the Nirbhaya case. So do Nirbhaya case are one of the mill case. I don't remember the name. Sorry, which happened in 2013, and one of the Ryan International School murder case in which a 7-year-old boy was killed by a 17-year-old boy. So this kind of mental sickness cannot be treated, and that is why I want the every children to know that when you do something wrong, you should be held responsible for what you are doing wrong. It does not matter what your age is, whether you are a 7-year-old child or whether you are 17-year-old. When you are wrong, you should be, unless you had no intention of doing that, it happened unintentionally, then it's all right. Otherwise, I do think so that every person should be held, just because our judicial system believes in reforms, then it is not going to work. So then it is not going to make our society more peaceful and safe for anyone. Because sir, if a child is who is just 7-year old is not safe, and 23-year-old college intern is not safe, then I do really have the question that are we safe? Because if the children are doing those things which are known as to be innocent, then are adults going to leave us, or are adults going to make sure that we are not going to get hurt, or don't, or okay. So at last, I would like to conclude that just because of some children or some sick people, we are going to face a lot of problems in future as well. So I want the judiciary to take strict action and treat juvenile justice cases as same as adult crime cases. Thank you.
Ritushi, you said that we should have strict laws for the um, children who are committing these offenses. But what about the reformative theory we are believing in, or the Mahatma Gandhi told about the reformative theory? Will it be not against them?
Sir, I do believe that reform theory now is not going to work. Sir, it was when Mahatma Gandhi told this theory, it was around 1950s, sir. It was so peaceful. I guess it was peaceful then now it is. And maybe it was more safe than today's world. Sir, and if we see that sir, after a few years only, in one BMW case also happened, which was also done by a 17-year-old boy, and that to be exact, in Pune, Mumbai or Pune, which happened in the 88, sir. And do you really think that after only 41 years old, when our India got independence today, sir, we are eligible to say that the reform theory is going to work? Yes, our Indian history is the best example of saying that reform is the best way. But, sir, sometimes people are having the sick mentality that can take away someone's life so peacefully, and they will not have any type of guilt. The only thing I believe in criminal psychology, that they are only afraid of two things: that what will people say when they get to know about this crime, and what punishment they are going to get. They do not give it a speck of any thought that yes, we have done a heinous crime. Sir, even if we say the bandit who used to kill the people and used to wear a necklace made up of the thumbs of his victims got changed, but sir, even after that also he got his punishment. I clearly don't remember, sir, by the public only or by the king himself, but he got punished. He got to know that karma is real, sir. Our Indian history also give us the reason that even though we believe in reformation, but we do not make sure that you are going to repent, sir. In our ancient history, that we have one prashchit, sir. There we have to repent for our mistakes, sir. In juvenile jails, as per my knowledge, they are only just taught that it is wrong, it is right, sir. As a 16-year-old child, I was also knowing that killing someone or torturing someone, blackmailing someone, etc., are illegal, sir. They are punishable, sir. Then how come they have the problem? Because, sir, we have do not have that strict laws, because the day we will have those strict laws and we will start implementing it, not only our society but the whole nation will start to uh, applause the judiciary after a few months, because we will take time. Because yes, we have some sentimental values that they are children, they have the whole life in front of them, but sir, what about the people who has suffered because of them? My question is, sir, that only. Because if we see that,
Okay, Trish. Okay, Vidusha. Okay.
Sir, वो आ रहे हैं बस just 2 minutes.
Okay, Ram. You can begin. Okay, sir. Good morning, everyone. My name is Ram Singh Rathore, and I'm doing BLLB first year. And my topic for today is: should juvenile defenders be tried and sentenced as adults for serious crime, for which I'm speaking for the motion. Old enough to do the crime, old enough to do the time. These words resonate deeply, especially when discussing the contentious issue of whether juvenile offenders should be tried and sentenced as adults for serious crime. While this issue's moral and legal complexities are vast, the principle remains clear. Serious crime deserves serious consequences, irrespective of the offender's age. A juvenile, by definition, is an individual who is still considered a child, immature, young, and prone to errors of judgment. Legally in India, an adult is a person over the age of 18. Their age threshold is a legal marker of when an individual is deemed capable of taking full responsibility for their actions. However, the disparity in how the law treats individuals based solely on their age rather than the severity of their actions raises critical concern. A crime committed by a minor is often dismissed as a mere mistake because of the offender's age, while the same act committed by an adult is met with harshest penalty. As Justice Kennedy stated, I quote, "The law must recognize that some juveniles are so mature that their crimes so heinous that they are deserving of the adult penalties." The Juvenile Justice Care and Protection Act 2015 represents a step in the right direction by allowing juveniles in this age group to be tried as adults for heinous crimes.
Soon after the 2012 Nirbhaya gang rape and murder case began, one of the taking points was the juvenile status of a person accused of committing a serious crime. Among the six accused, one was a juvenile. The cause for trying him as an adult was a factor in the 2015 amendment. A year after the incident, her parents moved to the Supreme Court challenging the juvenile justice board trial for the 17-year-old accused. They wanted him to be tried for a criminal court. They weren't happy with him instantly getting away with murder. A 2017 report outlined what that person is up to now. He's a cook, has changed his name, and supposedly turned over a new leaf. The bench of Justice Subodh Abhyankar, hearing a case in Madhya Pradesh of a 15-year-old raping a minor, said that the legislature hadn't learned its lesson from the Nirbhaya's case. It gave freedom to delinquents under the age of 16 to commit heinous crimes. The Nirbhaya case isn't the only one. The Shakti Mills gang rape case, Mumbai 2013, Gurugram school murders case 2017, Unnao rape case 2019, Shivani Bhatnagar murder case 2019. While the offenders were sentenced to death under the rarest of rarer doctrine, the juvenile was sentenced to just 3 years in a correctional facility. How is this dealt with in other countries? In Germany, for example, the children between the ages of 14 and 18 are tried in a youth court, irrespective of the crime. They cannot be imprisoned for more than 10 years and less than 6 months. In the United States of America, the trend has been towards trying juveniles as adults in cases involving violent crimes. This approach ensures that the gravity of the offense is matched by the seriousness of the punishment, reinforcing the principle that justice must be served. The role of the legal system is not just to rehabilitate, but to deliver justice, both to the victims and to the society at large. The juvenile system must send a clear message that age does not absolve one of responsibility for serious crime. Justice Deepak Mishra, former Chief Justice of India, stated, I quote, the crime is the result of a psychological preserved mind. Such crime reflect the brutality of the mind and not of the body. Age cannot be a shield when the crime committed has the intensity of an adult criminal. I unquote. The legal framework must balance the need for rehabilitation with the imperative of ensuring justice and public safety. Holding juvenile offenders fully accountable for their actions when they crime warrants it. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Ram, please open your camera.
रामवर्धन सिंह, आप अपना कैमरा ओपन करिए अगर बताया जा रहा है आपसे तो।
Yes, sir. एक minute.
Hmm.
Yes, sir.
Ram, now tell me this thing that you were saying that a person should be treated as an adult for the heinous offenses. Now, if a child who is a 16-year-old child and he is a first-time offender, so will it not be injustice for within that he's been treated as an adult with those criminal who are not habitual offenders?
Yes,
What
sir.
are your opinion on this point?
So that even the first, if he is a first offender, he should be held accountable for his mistake. Like if he is just excused and sent to a rehabilitation center, he may be turned over a new leaf, but in the back of his mind, it may be somewhere that he can just do a same crime again, and he will be dealt in the same manner.
No, in the
So
back of his mind, you're saying there's also a chance that he'll be, if he go to a child care home center, he can get reformed. I mean, in the criminal law, we say that no accused should be held guilty even if 100 of criminals are being left. So will it not be injustice with him if if he's a first time offender and we'll treating him as the same criminal as the adult criminal?
No, sir. If he is like, if a crime is like major, then he should be dealt the same manner as an adult. Like even
So
as a,
what
if
about
he's
the
a first
reformative
offender.
theory that Mahatma Gandhi has said?
I don't believe in that. Like in this age, a 16 years of is fully mature to understand what the serious crime is, what not. Like if he
Oh,
can,
Radhe, so you having questions?
Yes. Okay, Ramvardhan, you talked about the maturity, right?
yes, sir.
So, how can you justify the Nirbhaya rape case minor who was just 6 months less than 18-year-old? Do you think that just after crossing 18 years, he suddenly got the maturity and understanding of all these things?
Maybe he would have.
All right. So, you know the name of that person who was minor at that time? That minor person name?
No, sir, I don't.
Okay, he was tried in Juvenile Justice Act or adult, as an adult.
Uh, he was first he was tried as a juvenile justice act.
Okay.
Then
Okay, he is roaming free in the society right now. Okay, he was set free.
yes, yes, sir.
Don't you think he can commit the same crime again?
So he definitely can.
All right.
Okay, Ram, you can now leave the meeting.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Is this slot number 4? Ava and Mehak, right? Slot number 4.
Mac, kindly unmute yourself.
All right, Ava, you can start.
Okay. Ma'am, I would like to start my speech with the very beautiful line said by Mahatma Gandhi that if you want the real peace in the world, please start with the childrens. This line exactly says that we should that how the nation's development depends on the children. According to Mahatma Gandhi, the growth of any nation depends on the children as they are the future of our nation. Our constitution provisional supports that, like Article 15 clause 3 supports that state can make special laws for women and children protection, and like Article 39 clause F says the children should get equal opportunities and facilities for their development. But what if what if the children's and the minors are involved in heinous crimes? But that should be a case that it really reflects the development of the nation. That I would like to give a strength to my statement that the juveniles are really involved in the heinous crime by discussing some of the case laws. For example, the Nirbhaya case rape, in which a boy who was just few months less than the age of 18 was involved in a very heinous crime like rape, but he was not convicted. He was just sent to the correctional house, and after that he was released. So, but the other four were convicted as they were adults. So, I would like to discuss that for these types of heinous crimes, sometimes juvenile protection does not work right. And the very famous case, which is a very recent case, which has guarded the attention of the whole nation, and especially the juvenile members. Protection members, that the case was Pune Porsche car accident, in which two two IT professionals had been dead because of the 17-year minor was driving the car in a very high speed, and he was intoxicated too. In these type of cases, the general provision which really works is IPC section 300 IPC section 304, which says that the maximum punishment is a lifetime imprisonment, or the minimum punishment should be 10 years of imprisonment. But he was not punished with the same, and his act was as equivalent to the adult. It was not negligently done. It was all intentional because he was intoxicated also. The two people were dead. They were they were IIT professionals. They would have served good to the nation. And sir, I would like to share some of the data which was given by the National Crime Bureau Board Commission, that about 36,138 cases in which juveniles are registered, and in those cases there are 1,733 cases which are about kidnapping, and there are 1,633 cases which are about rape, and there are 844 cases which are about murder, and there are 806 cases which are about attempt to murder, and there are about 1,392 cases in which the women are mortgaged out of her modesty. So, by these facts, I want to really discuss that sometimes the juvenile protection does not work. They should be treated as an adult in the cases like such when they are involved in a really heinous crime. uh, and sir, I would like to conclude myself by saying that in the judgments like Pune wala Porsche car, in which he was not convicted like a general citizen under IPC, and in the Nirbhaya rape case, in which he was the most active member of that case, but he was still not convicted for that same offense, and the other four were convicted. But according to that, the people who are the juveniles who are really involved in those cases with a very heinous intention, they should be treated as an adult on the basis of cases, on the basis of facts of the cases, and on the basis of the relevant evidences. Sir, I would like to really share share that the juveniles who were registered in those cases which are released by so I would like to conclude that from the data which is collected by the National Crime Bureau, and the case laws like Nirbhaya rape case, and the Porsche car accident, we can see that the juveniles should also be treated as an adult during the proceeding, and same with the judgments and the statements given to them. Thank you, sir.
Okay, Abha, I have a
Respected judges, esteemed opponents, and dear audience, today we gather to discuss on a topic that is very hard, that is at a strike of the heart of the justice and the future of the society. Should juvenile offenders be punished and sentenced as adults for the serious offenses? I hereby stand before you to argue against this proposition, as adults, as treating juveniles as adults and sentencing them on the as the same. It not only undermines the principle of justice, but it also undermines the principle of fairness and disregards the potential of rehabilitation and growth that is very inclusive in every young person. Mentioning a quote of Nelson Mandela, as the same of Mahatma Gandhi says, there can be no keener revelation of a society's soul than the way in which it treats its children, which simply says that treating the children or the juveniles of a country is the foremost thing a nation must follow. Who are juveniles basically? Those who are under the age of 18 as per the age criteria. And when we come to offenses, those who comes under the petty offenses, serious offenses, and heinous offense category. The heinous offense category in which the age is altered from 18 to 16 years, correcting. Next, now here I'll be demonstrating that why trying and sentencing the why trying and sentencing the juveniles as per the adults laws and regulation is not right, as it is morally as well as legally wrong, and it also counterpart and it also is counterproductive to the broader pursuit of justice. The point number one is development differences between the adults and the juveniles. The study of the National Institute of Medical Health says that found in its research of neuroscience that the juveniles' brains are not fully developed as the adults' minds are, and similarly mentioning a famous US case of Rober versus Simons, in which the US court, US Supreme Court mentions that it is unconstitutional to try a juvenile as same as an adult because of the differences in the capability of their minds. The next point is the potential of rehabilitation. We all know that there is higher possibility of rehabilitation among the young and among the juveniles who are the youth and who are the future generation. uh, Even when we sentence them on the grounds as the adults, it will only hamper and impact their future opportunities. It will have negative impacts on them. And mentioning the most famous Nirbhaya case, as mentioned, as my opponent said, even in that case, the feature of the rehabilitation was reflected because the juvenile, was sentenced as only per the earlier mentioned rule. The age was the age was altered, though no matter whether the age was earlier what or not. Even in the voting rights, the age is still 18 years. And if the person are too understandable, the society too understands the same, why the voting age is not degraded, not going far from the topic. The next is Salil Bali versus Union of India. In the same case, it was also mentioned that the Juvenile Justice Act also stated the same, that the juvenile should not be treated as per the adult rule. Further, there are evidences of ineffectiveness of the adult sentences on the juveniles. It is clear that there is high recidivism among the juveniles. They are more prone to reoffend when if they are sent to the adults prisons. And it is clearly stated by the United States justice system. There are many examples of the person in the juveniles that who later did some great works, such as James Anderson. I would like to mention his name, that how greatly he had come up after being in a juvenile session. Further, there is Sarah Sergan from the United States, who has been a famous writer, motivator, author, Shaka Sanger. Yes. Yes, thank you. The system, it is only to suggest that the adult sentencing should not be given to the juveniles, and because it does not achieve its intended goal of deterrence and public safety, but rather it contributes to the cycle of criminal working. I would like to further mention that by maintaining a separate juvenile system, we uphold the principle of justice, fairness, and also account to unique circumstances among the youth offenders. Thank you.
Now I have question for team code 16.
Yes, sir.
Um, as you can see that the crime rate of the juvenile is increasing day by day.
Yes, sir.
So and and also the seriousness of crime that they are committing is the same as that of the adult. So why not the age? Why not he should be treated as an adult offender?
So here, the thing that is mentioned, you are mentioning about the deterrence. When we say that the juveniles are committing more crimes, there is no such data which can clearly mention that. There is no such data which can clearly state that by sentencing the juveniles as adult will deter the further crimes. Only it will affect the juveniles who have committed those crimes and their future opportunities. As I have already mentioned the name of some eminent
I'll
personalities.
I'll I'll give you the data. Study of crime rate in India from past decade. It shows that the percentage of juvenile justice crime as compared to the crime has increased by 0.7%. ये 10 साल का डेटा है आपके पास.
Sir,
And
uh,
uh,
um, sir, I'm
and
mentioning the data which says that there is no data specifying that by sentencing the juveniles as per
no,
the adult.
it is not the data that you're mentioning. See,
Yes,
giving of sentence, we are not here for the deterrent theory, we are here for the reformative theory. But in the same, if we're not punishing the offender, what justice we are giving to the victim? The point
sir.
here is this.
Okay, sir, I got your point, sir. Sir, mentioning to provide justice to the victim or towards the society during the heinous crimes the juvenile offenders had committed, I would only like to mention that by when we provide harsh punishments to the juvenile offenders, it will not fulfill the principle of rehabilitation. The main purpose is to improve the understanding, and when we consider the severity of the crimes, we should also consider that there is no that there is difference in the development of their brains. They do not have the cognitive ability to understand the severity of those crimes. So how can we punish them for for incapability of such
So
understanding?
you are saying that they don't have this cognitive ability. So
Yes,
when
sir.
a juvenile is committing a rape, don't you
Yes, sir.
think he has the ability to understand what he is doing with a sexual offense or not? And are you saying that the offense committed by a habitual juvenile is not with his proper intention or cognitive intention?
So once a heinous crime is committed, the juvenile will came on out of the juvenile center only after attaining the age of maturity. And if again the crime is committed, then the crime will be committed by a major person, not a minor one. And next, if such crime is committed by a person, so I'm not saying that it depends on the age also. If we are mentioning the age of 16 years, it is still a age that is mentioned by the amendment in the justice act in the year 2015, where it has altered the age from the 18 to 16 years, and not mentioning that they are not able to understand the severity of crimes, but still they are incapable of the same. And it is clearly mentioned by the report of the of the National Institute of Medical Health, and in the famous case of the U.S. Supreme Court, where it says the same, that they are it is unconstitutional.
Okay, okay. Now,
So,
Abha,
Yes, sir.
uh, now you tell me that you were for the motion. You were speaking for the motion that they should adult he should be treated as adult for the serious crimes. What
Sir,
if
can you please repeat the question once?
I am saying that you have mentioned that a juvenile offender should be treated as an adult for a serious crimes. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Huh. Now tell me one thing, that if an offense is committed by a person for the first time,
Yes, sir.
and if we commit that person uh, as an adult, he'll be living in prison with the other criminals who are and habitual offenders who have been uh, offend who have been criminally liable in many cases. So matlab, is it not affecting the right to equality or something? Uh, they should be treated as a different perspective.
Sir, according to the data which I have given in my which I have stated in my statement, sir, we can see the number of increasing crime rate by the juveniles. Uh,
Okay.
and sir, in such cases like Nirbhaya rape case and Pune wala Porsche car case, the offenders were very really close to 18 years of age, and they had did a very heinous crime, and they should be treated like an adult in the proceedings and as well as in the judgments too. So for example, so like I've stated about the National Crime Bureau report that like there are 844 cases of murder in which juveniles were there, and there are 806 cases in which uh, there was attempt to murder, and like they are increasing in number day by day. So the if by seeing the heinousness of crime, if there is a punishment in any case or in a number of cases, it would set a status, or it would set like a level to juveniles, that they can be also treated as an adult in a proceeding. So it will create a little bit changes in the little bit changes in the data. Maybe the juveniles will decrease the number of the cases, or they will not commit any crime, like, or they will develop the things like they will be treated as an adult if they commit any crime like that.
But once a juvenile has been treated as an adult, he is kept in jail with the other inmates who are very senior to them. They have committed all the murders and all, and we see that the different activities. We're not giving him a chance to it is said that every saint has a past and every criminal has a future.
Yes, sir.
We say this statement, and we why should not we give him a chance to be kept in the uh, child care home, and let him give him a chance. And as it has been mentioned by the other speakers, that once they are kept in this child care home, they are they are being out after they have attained 18 years of age. So why should we not give them a chance and make them suffer with the other inmates?
Sir, on this, I would like to say that if the crime that I said that they should be treated like as an adult. That I did not say that they must be treated. If the crime is too heinous, or as per the evidences and as per the case facts, they should be treated like an adult, and we can make amendments also in the case laws, that in the Juvenile Care Protection Act, that if there should be a they should not be kept with those prisoners who are really have done so many heinous crimes. They can be kept separately, but they should be punished as if they have committed a really heinous crime.
Okay, Abha.
Because
Rajesh sir,
I
we
really
can.
agree.
Okay, Abha. Okay, I got your point. Rajdev sir, you have any questions?
Yes, sir. Mac, I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
I want to know your stance on the view that a heinous crime is done by a 15-year-old and a 17-and-a-half-year-old. Do you think that the gravity and the understanding of both the children is same, and do you still justify that they should not be treated as an adult?
So, as you mentioned that there is a gap of a 1.5 year. So, when you are talking about a gap of such 1.5 year time period, which is approx 2 years time period. So when we are talking about a person who is of 15 years and who is of 17 years, and mm, and they both have committed the heinous crimes whose punishment is more than 7 years. So as per the alteration in the act, the one who is below the age of 16 year, he should not be, uh, as per the law, he should not be tried as uh, as an adult in those cases. But we are on serious offenses, as the one who has as the one who has gained the age above 16 years, he is considered, he will be basically he will be convicted as an for the offense as an adult. So here I'm mentioning that they both literal they both, from my perspective, don't have such ability to understand. Especially the one who is of 15 years, he don't have the ability to understand the severity of the offense he had committed. And for once, if they had committed the offense, they should provided a chance, so that they can have a better scope in their life.
All right. Okay, Abha Shukla, I have a simple and factual question for you. You talked about the NCRB report, right? Its
Yes,
data.
sir.
So can you just brief me about what is NCRB and under which ministry it works?
Sir, NCRB is uh, matlab it provides a data about the crime, about the increasing of the crime, and it provides how the crime rate is increasing or decreasing in number, or how the crime is increasing as per the perspective of the women. For example, in 2023, the National Crime Bureau report has provided that the crime rate in Maharashtra and Delhi against the women has increased in more number.
Okay, can you tell me the ministry under which it works?
So, manage.
All right, no worries. Thank you.
Ma'am, should I start first? So, to my esteemed opponent, when you are talking about the severity of crime, that you are demanding that the juvenile should be treated or they should be convicted as the adults, why are you not focusing that they lack the development stage and they do not have they do not have such mental capacity? And even when you are acknowledging that the crimes of the juveniles, why are you not focusing that they also have the higher potential for change and reintegration in the society? Also, as I mentioned, mentioned further, that there are people who are in the juvenile center, such as Shakha Sengar, who has also written a book, a best selling book, righting my wrongs of my life, a type. And also, when we are talking about deterrence, that they it would set a standard for other juveniles, that they will other juveniles, that they will not commit such crimes. So researches does not show that trying juveniles as adults does effectively deter the crime. In fact, juveniles are less likely to consider the long term consequences of their actions, and suggesting that adult sentence and suggesting the adult sentencing to the juveniles does not prevent future crimes, but rather it only exaggerates the problems of the society, as it works as a criminal cycle, as a working of the criminal cycle. The moral and ethical responsibility is not only on the juveniles, it's also depend on the society as well, that they should understand that the juveniles who has committed the offenses, they are not of such mental capability, and addressing the violent juvenile crime rates, in which the perception that juvenile crime rates are rising and the harsher penalties are needed, it is not supported by evidences. Yes, that's all. And protection of society from dangerous individuals is clearly important, but trying juveniles as adults often, it also it also leads to counterproductive, it is counterproductive to the goals. And not mentioning the data that what the juveniles have committed, the crimes they have committed, is there any data that after being mm, I'm sorry, correction, that the juveniles have committed such crimes. It also, there should be data that the juveniles have also got the opportunity for their better future if they are tried as per the Juveniles Act. And all the cases you have mentioned, in which in those cases the juveniles were not tried and convicted as an adult. Instead, uh, the cases had just the cases had just set up standard or bar. Thank you.
Okay, so on this, I would like to say कि it is not always that every person who had sent it to the correction home will be good after, or he may not commit the crime after. But if he is not, but if he is not punished for that heinous crime, it may uplift his willingness to commit more crime. It may be like he may will be addicted, or he may get the habit of committing those crimes in further as his age. If he is not if he is not convicted, or if he is not convicted in a proceedings like adult, because because every juvenile never gets never gets corrected after going to the correction home. And even if in
This is what the rehabilitation centers do. The rehabilitation centers are made for correcting them. They are not for doing. They are. This is certainly the work of the rehabilitation centers. They are for this purpose only, that they have to uh, rehab the juveniles, and further to provide them proper um, proper understanding that how severe was their crime. Not mentioning that they should not be punished, but they should be punished as a juvenile, not as an adult. There should be punishment for a juvenile. Once if It also depends on the severity of the crime, as you mentioned, but severity of crime also comes with the mental development stages.
yes, of course the mental development really important. But what if he gets in his mind, for example, that Pune Porsche car accident, that he knows that he was very well intoxicated, he was in a rush driving, but even after the Bombay High Court gave him a bail. So it was a very easy bail, and according to IPC section 304, he would have been convicted if he was above the age of 18. He would have been got the punishment of lifetime imprisonment or the imprisonment of 10 years. So what about in those such cases, in which the person has in which the person has acted like an adult? If he has acted like an adult, and he knows if he may commit a crime, and if he had known that he may go through another crime, so this will really uplift the juveniles that they may commit afterwards. More we can make like amendments in juvenile care protection, that they should not be treated like those prisoners who have committed so many crimes. And those crimes, if they are kept with those prisoners who are really heinous and grievous in nature, it will definitely reflect their mental capacity. But in case they are not even punished, so in that cases it may increase their mental capacity to do more crimes. So I would like to say कि there should be at least some punishment for that.
There is punishment for them by taking them to the juvenile center. Why are you saying that they should be punished as adults for those crimes? If they are punished as adults,
If,
it would increase their recidivism power, which basically means that their further tendency to do the same crime. So even the United States justice system says the same. If they are tried and convicted as per the adults rules and regulations, their tendency to do the crime increases. Instead, when they are kept to the rehabilitation center or the care or protection houses, their such tendency degrades, and they got a better life for future opportunities. Don't you think so? Providing them one chance is.
it is definitely well said that they should be provided opportunities, and even our constitution, so many articles which I've discussed in my speech, that they really help the children of our nation to for their upliftment, for their opportunity, for their education system. But
If you are
what
agreeing on the same point, then why are you arguing that?
what
Okay, we'll stop this discussion there. It is all.
Yes, sir.
Now you can both leave.
Thank you, sir. Thank you,
Thank you,
Abha.
thank you, sir.
Respected judges, and my worthy opponents. I, Anshika Singh, would like to express my views for the motion juveniles should be treated as adults for serious crimes. I strongly believe that juveniles should be treated as adults and sentenced as adults for serious crimes, as punishment act as deterrent to crime. I stand for a society that does not tolerate serious crimes, no matter who commits it. Whether I am being murdered by someone who is 17 or who is 19 makes no relative difference. At the end, I am being murdered, and the same social harm has been caused, which needs to be corrected. For me, juveniles are sane enough to distinguish what is right and what is wrong. And we as a society needs to understand that there is a difference between committing a theft from a jewelry shop and committing a theft from a shop of toffee. So there is a difference. If a person is stealing a toffee from a shop, that could be defended. But if a person is executing theft in proper manner by breaking off lock, hiding from camera, entering in night, so that's determining that the person is sane enough. So for me, there is a difference between these two states, and we need to understand that. And they should be given appropriate punishment for their acts so that other children are not encouraged by that. This debate is about serious crimes, and we should stand by a society that is just and equal for all. My only point is decide the punishment on the basis of elements of crime provided by law, and not just because of age for the sense. For me, physical and mental maturity of a person should be determined for treating him as the adult in the further proceeding, and they should be punished so that they do not commit such disgraceful act in future. The main issue people raise here is that the children going in prison may struggle to reintegrate to society once they come out or once they grew up. But they need to understand and remember that they are the child who have committed some wrong, and that wrong need to be corrected at correct time. Nobody is suggesting throwing kids into jail for littering, but we need to understand that these are kids who have committed seriously, normally repetitive crime, The kids were found to be guilty of not just doing wrong, but having malicious intent, and that intent need to be corrected. So for me, let us consider that they go outside of prison, and they were again in association with criminal intent. So that may cause harm to themselves also, not just others, but for themselves also they are not good. So for me, prison would be the best thing for them because they are monitored, they are secured, and they are able to be held there. It is not only about jail but about justice that needs to be equal for all groups. In 2018, there are two incidents. One where a man of 38-year-old committed a rape of a 7-year-old girl and got a punishment of 30-year imprisonment by the Supreme Court. In the same year, in Gopal Nagar, a 5-year-old girl was raped by a minor who is just a 14-year-old and did not get any such strict punishment. So for me, that's wrong. Age cannot justify anyone's criminal intent. If he has done something wrong, he need to be punished. And injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. So my point is, justice should be equal for all, no matter what age or what intent they have. So
Your
that's
time,
all.
your time
Have
up.
Yes, thank you.
You're having more 15 seconds if you want to wind up.
No, thank you.
Okay, so okay, now Soumya Singh, you are having debate from for side or against side?
Against.
Okay, you are having 4 minutes. Now you can on your camera and mics and start the debate.
Mansi, what is the team code?
Sir, from team code 1, we were having Anshika and Lisa, but Lisa left. So for Anshika, we are having Soumya.
Okay, team code number 1E.
3.
Soumya, what's your
Soumya
team code?
belongs to which team? Team number?
I belong to team slot 2.
Team number 2. Okay.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Yeah.
Okay, let me begin. So we all know that childhood is a golden age, and juveniles in their age are still developing their mind. And when we talk about giving them old punishments, the punishment that are given to adults, it will be so unfair to their innocent mind. They may commit some heinous crimes, but we should not consider them that they have committed that crime thinking that it is wrong or right. So the issue whether a juvenile should be treated as an adult touches both moral and legal grounds. Let me give you an example. Imagine a 14-year-old boy being sent to a old prison, adult prison, where he has been mistreated by some adult prisoners, and he is not able to cooperate with them. What effect on his mind will be at that time? He will not be able to reintegrate in the society when he will be released from the prison. We must consider that the research of the psychosocial and neuroscience says that juveniles are still developing, and they are not developed until they reach to the age of early or mid 20s. We should also not forget that juveniles are still immature and are not able to discriminate between what is right and what is wrong. Even our society considers that children are not responsible for their actions as adults are. So, how this society will endorse such an activity that a juvenile is sent to a old adult prison? Now, coming to the another point, a juvenile is the future of the country, and if we will keep him in adult prison and we will give him adult punishments, what will the effect on his mind? He will think that he's been given some punishment that is not meant for him. He may commit so serious crime. Maybe his mental health is not well. We should keep in account that his mental health should be well, his physical health should be well, the environment in which he is being raised, that should also be well. Thank you.
Now you can ask the questions if you both are having any questions for you both, sir.
Who is in my opposition?
Open your
Who
camera.
is in my opposition?
Anshika.
So
You both
I
are, wait. You both are having one minute for asking the questions and for answering the answers. Now you may start.
how could you say that only the age of a person can justify his act? See, not the age. His mind is still developing. When we study biology, and the experts say that their areas of his brain is still developing, and he is not able to control on his impulses. There is a difference between being insane and being child. So for me, being child doesn't mean he's insane. And also for the point you raised for prison. So there are many countries where there is special prison wards for young offenders. So that could be a solution for that. In India, here is also 3-year punishment for those who commit serious crimes, especially for juveniles. And when you are talking about child is not insane, I'm not saying that he is insane, but he is still immature. He cannot discriminate between what is right and what is wrong according to the society. He is still in his learning phase. The thing is, why we are only considering accused to be innocent? Why we are talking about the victim?
Time up. Now, Soumya, if you're asking something you want to ask, then you can ask.
Okay. So why do you want that the juvenile who is still immature should be given an adult punishment? So that they cannot further repeat that crime. And also to teach him that no, this is wrong, you should not do it again. So I think this is justified.
Anshika,
We have a system called rehabilitation homes where he can be sent because retribution is far worse than rehabilitation and reforming.
Anshika on the camera.
So what about the victim's mindset? What about his mental health who is being victimized? See, what happened that cannot be changed. Whatever the offense has been committed, that cannot be changed. But if we want to write our future of our nation, we can initiate some recovery, like retrieve the child. We can monitor him in the rehabilitation home.
Time up.
Okay, that's it. Thank you.
You both can leave now. On the camera. Okay, first of all, let me tell you that you both are having 5 minutes. You both are having 5 minutes, and if you want rebuttal round, then you will be having 4 minutes and 1 minute for rebuttal. Now you can start. First of all, for one will speak. First of all, tell me you want rebuttal round or not?
Please mention your team code before starting. Please mention your team codes before starting.
My team code is number 3. Slot 2, number 3. Team code number is slot 2, number 4. And yes, I want a rebuttal round.
Okay, then you both are having 4 minutes for speaking and 1 minute for rebuttal.
Okay. Okay.
Then first of all, the person who is speaking for you may start.
Okay, so I'm starting now. Okay. Everyday newspapers are column to column full with the stories of crimes by youth on a loop. What has gone wrong? Why do they ridiculously behave? In the land of Mahatma, why do such states we have? Good afternoon to one and all present here. Today I stand before you all to speak in favor of the motion. I am excited to discuss this topic as I believe that it has a very significant importance in our community. So, according to the Indian legal system, 18 years is the age where a person can be considered to stand up to the things that he or she has done. Whereas below the age, same things are named as mistakes. Why? Because such individuals are bound to make mistakes. The age of the individual is considered rather than the brutality that was shown to them. I mean, for the victim, it does not matter if the criminal is in between 16 or 18 years of age. The age does not cut down. I mean, for the victim, it does not matter if the criminal is between 16 or 18 years of age. It does not cut down to the brutality that was shown to them. In my opinion, juveniles should be treated as adults if the crimes committed by them are adults. For anyone to commit such a crime, there's some amount of thought that goes into it. I am further supporting it with some reports. The data on the incidence of juvenile delinquency in India. The data is disturbing if the statistics were only criteria to measure juvenile delinquency in India. The figures from the National Crime Records Bureau states that across the country, a total of 31,170 cases were registered against juveniles in 2021, showing a 5% increase over 2020. The crime rate among juveniles had also risen from 6% to 7% as per the NCRB. Even in cases where a juvenile has committed a grave offense, trying them as adults could be seen as necessary to protect the society, particularly if there are concerns of the juvenile being a continuing threat. When we talk about juveniles and their punishments, it's almost impossible to not mention the infamous Nirbhaya case of 2012, where there were 6 culprits, one of them being the minor at the time of the incidents. We can witness the disability of the system of law. In the case as the 4 of them were after a lot of struggle hanged to death, whereas the minor was sentenced under the Juvenile Justice Act with a maximum punishment of 3 years. Whereas the minor is believed to be one of the most brutal of all the culprits. He was the one to ambush the victim with an iron rod. It's a shame to see the impaired functionality of the justice system.
Okay. Are you having 15 seconds more for winding up if you want?
Okay, thank you. Instead of sending them for rehabilitation, they should be tried as adults, given appropriate punishment, so that other children are not motivated to do the same offense. The least we can offer the victim is a sheer act of justice. I stand for a society that does not tolerate serious crimes, no matter who commits it. Thank you. Good afternoon.
Start.
Good afternoon, esteemed judges and my fellow debaters. Today we confront a deeply important question. Should juvenile offenders be tried and sentenced as adults for serious crimes? I stand firmly against the motion. Our criminal justice system must acknowledge the fundamental differences between juveniles and adults. To ignore these differences by treating them the same way is not only unjust but also fails to address the underlying issue that leads juveniles to commit serious diseases. Juveniles are just not small version of adults. They are in a distinct phase of conjugative and emotional development. Scientific research has established that the adolescent brain, particularly the prefrontal construct, which governs decision making, impulse control, and risk assessment, is not only fully developed until the mid 20s. This means juveniles are more susceptible to peer pressure, more likely to act impulsively, and less capable for foreseeing the consequences of their actions. The Supreme Court also, in Roper versus Simmons case, ruling that it is unconstitutional to impose the death penalty on juveniles. One of the core principles of juvenile justice is rehabilitation rather than rehabilitation. Juveniles are just in the process of forming their identities and moral compasses, making them more amenable to rehabilitation efforts. When we try and sentence them as adults, we expose them to environmental that can harden rather than reform them. Adult prisons are not equipped to meet the needs of young offenders and often exacerbate the problem, leading to higher rates of recidivism. Our legal system is built on the principle of justice, fairness, and proportionality. These principles demand that the punishment fit both the crime and the offender's circumstances. Juveniles, due to their age and developmental stage, are less moral culpable than adults. To try and sentence them as adult violates the principle of proportionality, imposing exclusively harsh penalties on individuals who are not yet fully responsible for their actions. In conclusion, trying and sentencing juveniles as adults is fundamentally flawed. It ignores the significant developmental differences between juveniles and adults, overlook the potential for rehabilitation, and contradict the principle of justice and fairness. Our society must recognize that juvenile offenders are not irredeemable. They are individuals with the capability to learn, grow, and change. By focusing on rehabilitation rather than retribution, we can provide them with the opportunity to become responsible, contributing members of society. Thank you.
Yes, Malia, you can speak now.
Thank you so much. So, as my learned opponent just stated, that the juvenile offenders are less intellectually mature, right? So there is a case of 2021 in Guwahati. A minor was involved in a bomb blast, whereas he was aware of the consequences. He was aware of the severity of the crime, and that bomb blast led to a lot of deaths and a lot of injuries to the people. And he was aware of that, and there was a media outrage that the juvenile should be that juvenile offender should be tried as adult. So how can you say that every juvenile offender is not mature enough? Like, what do you have to say about this case? According to this case, I would like to say that that juvenile. To pass the question. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Okay, left. Joins Neha Tripathi in meeting and his opponent Aditya Garg is absent. He is tell me that he will be unable to attend the meeting. Okay. So yes, Neha Tripathi will be only the sole contestant. Okay, ask her to give the request. From which side you are speaking?
I'm speaking from the in the motion of the topic.
Okay, then you are having 5 minutes for speaking. Now you can start.
Okay,
Please state your team code.
sorry sir, I cannot hear you.
Please state your team code.
I cannot hear you again. I'm really
What
sorry.
is your team code, Sneha?
Kindly mention your team.
My team code is I'm in slot 3.
I think your team code is 5.
505, yes.
Okay.
Should I start? Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. I want to start by highlighting that no matter how old one is, murder or rape or such heinous crimes are committed with culprit planning it and putting through it with in their mind like once or twice at least. So, in such cases and crimes, the court tries to safeguard children because of their small age or if because thinking that they have a good future ahead, a lot of time to change themselves. But according to me, what I think is they shouldn't be letting the juvenile slide because many a times they play victim card, which I think. And but over the world, 76% of the first-time juvenile offenders commit offense after 3 years or maximum 5 years. And to be more specific, 7 out of 10 juvenile offenders commit crime in 5 years again and again. So, and after all of this, all they get is 3 to 7 years of punishment, and uh, that's it. So, uh, if we take an example of the Nirbhaya case of 2012, we'll see how among the 5 offenders, one of them was minor, where the 4 of them had a really hard time and were hanged to death. One of them, just according to the Juvenile Justice Act, went to the rehabilitation of 3 years and got 10,000 rupees and a sewing machine for a great future ahead. But according to some sources, he was the most brutal criminal among them because he ambushed the victim with an iron rod. And it's not about only one case, there are many cases like that. Just as an example, Shakti Mills gang rape case, where among the 7 offenders, 2 of the minors were left just like similarly in the Nirbhaya case. So I just want to say that not only in India but around the world it's the same case, and uh, that's it. And if a brain is developed enough to plan like a adult for a crime, I guess physically the body is also uh, enough developed to see what trials are like an adult and be punished like an adult. That's all. Thank you.
Okay, now you can leave. Members of team slot 4 are just joining in few seconds. Okay, first of all, turn on the cameras. So, you are having 5 minutes for speaking. Now, first of all, tell me that you want rebuttal round or not.
I'm not interested in a battleground.
Okay, then you are having 5 minutes for speaking, both of you. So first, shall I start? The person who is speaking for 4, you can start. Okay. So a crime is a crime irrespective
State your
of
team
age.
code before starting.
Justice.
Please mention your team code before starting.
Tell the team code.
Before starting.
Tell the team code before start. Any code? My code is 7. Okay, Atham, your
My
code?
code is 8. 8.
Okay, please start.
Okay. A crime is a crime irrespective of the age. Justice must be served and uphold the integrity of the nation. Whether committed by an adult or a child, a crime disrupts the fabric of the country and hence the demand is justice. A very good afternoon to one and all present over here. Today I Purti am here to speak in the favor of the motion should juvenile offenders be tried and sentenced as adults. We all know that juveniles should be punished as adults as it would help us to reduce such despicable propensities among the children of the very same age. It is an unequivocal fact that the lives of children are carved in the very environment they live in. Children nowadays are very quick learners. They are provided with electronic devices and mediums which they shouldn't be given access to. When left unchecked by their elders, they become prone to suspectable to various criminal mindsets. Minors who are close to attain majority are well within the capacity to understand the consequences of their acts. The intensity and severity of the crime depends upon the socio-economical and cultural environment. A juvenile delinquent is an outcome of an unwholesome society, congenial for the development of his faculties in conformity with the social expectations. In recent surveys, it was stated that in 2018, the level of crime committed by the juveniles was 21, which became 36 in 2020. The present law is not able to cope up with such to reduce these rates. Now, talking about the case of 2015, where three juveniles murdered a police officer in the court complex. Not only this, five juveniles in 2014 who escaped from a juvenile center home murdered the jeweler's wife and eloped with 50 kg of silver and 10 lakh rupees. The mental maturity among the juveniles come early in today's socio-cultural milieu. We all know that there is an enactment that children between 16 to 18 are to be considered as adults, but the punishment here is maximum 3 years. Juvenile Protection Act. Is it enough? The question arises here. But you're talking about the case which contended that the age of the minor should not be used as a shield in protecting the level of cruelty he has perpetuated on the victim is the most famous, the Nirbhaya case, the case of Mukesh DNR versus State of NCT Delhi. Here, after a lot of a struggle, the accused, who were the majors, were punished with death. But still, the minor got an imprisonment of 3 years. After that, he was left with 10,000 rupees and the sewing machine, though we all know that the level of brutality committed by him was the most, as he was the one to ambush the woman with an iron rod and cause internal ruptures in her body. Again, the same case took place in 2015, that was the Shakti Mill case. It clearly states that if a child who is 16 and has sense in it denotes that he can commit crime, then he should not require the society's care and protection, but instead the society requires care and protection from such individuals. The mental state of the child is denoted here, that if he has the factor of mens rea presented in his mind, then he clearly is not a child and should not be treated as a child. Again, the government here is taking measures to reduce such criminal rates, but still, there are some points the government is lagging, which results to the case that has occurred on 11th July, where an 8-year-old girl was raped in her school by her schoolmates who were 12-year-old. This clearly states that a crime is a crime whether done by a child or an adult. We shall be held accountable for the crime, and it would help the society to be prevented from such dangerous individuals. Now, talking about the latest case, the Porsche cash case everyone talks about nowadays. An 17-year-old juvenile killed two people in an automobile collision. But here the factor was him belonging to a rich family, got preferential treatment from the police. But the shocking thing was the leniency of the juvenile justice system board over here, as they provided the minor bail within hours of death of two people. So it clearly states that the law is being made as a joke in the country. We all can see a similar case happened again 3 days back. I was watching in the television. Now, talking about children are the future of the society. They must be transformed from a negative to a positive aspect. Juveniles who conduct such crimes should be held accountable from the crime as they are sane enough to understand the act, whether it is good or bad for them and the society as well. So, the juveniles should be punished as adults, as they would be held accountable and know the gravity of their actions they have caused, and not only them, but all the other individuals will also know the amount of punishment they will receive. At last, I would like to conclude with the statement that a crime leaves a mark not on the society, not on the victim, but on the society as a whole. And we should prevent such criminal rates so that such marks can be reduced from the society. Thank you.
Before I counter the points, or before I represent myself and talking about my points, I would like to counter Purti's points. First one, she said that justice must be served. It means by saying this Purti means an eye for eye, which makes whole world blind. Justice must be served. By saying this, we didn't mean that we have to punish exact amount of torture that victim accepted. India being a developing nation, most people fall into poverty and suffering from even starvation. So, such compelling circumstances insist their parents to leave their children for a job, work, or employment. These children accelerating their job with their employer, with sometimes without active serious employer had committed crime, the children who are connecting with them in order to eliminate their poverty will obviously embedded in this crime without committing any crime with mercy or intent. The juveniles are proceed to be as adult in courts. So, according to my opinion, a serious juvenile should not be uh, tried and sentenced as adult in the court. And my second point is the prefrontal context of brain is not developed yet in teenagers. It is a major part for making decisions. So without having the ability of making decision as adults, we cannot punish a person as an adult. That is my point.
So is it finished, Atha?
Yes.
Okay, now you both can leave the meeting. Thank you.
I still want to repeat. Everyone else, please leave the meeting. Everyone should be informed 5 minutes prior. Only Manshi Sharma and Tanishka Shukla be allowed to present in this meeting.
I had a question. So I wasn't very clear about the format of the debates we're doing Lincoln Douglas. So normally what happens is like 1.5 hour the first speakers, 1 hour the first speaker speaks, then 1.5 hour the second speaker, then half an hour is given to the first speaker to respond to the second speaker. So how are we like doing this?
Okay, yes. So I would like to answer your question. So there's a different slot given in, and in each slots there are two participants, one in for favor and one in against favor. So you will be given 5 minutes for your debate, like whatever you have to say. And if you want to be in rebuttal round, you were only allowed to be given 4 minutes. Then after the completion of 5 minutes, we will allow you 15 seconds for conclusion of your debate. So it's that clear, and I would request you to please leave this meeting because this is not your slot.
Okay, thank you.
Good afternoon, Honorable Judge and fellow debater. Myself, Manisha Sharma. Today, I am present the topic in the board, which is should juvenile offender treated as a sorry as as an adult. So first of all, I would like to tell what is juvenile. Juvenile refers to any people who is below the age of 18 year and has been accused of a crime. As we know, child is one As we know, child is one whose age under 18 year, but when this child commit any crime which is normal or heinous crime is called a juvenile. So now we talk about in the context of India. In the context of India, in Indian Juvenile Justice Act 1915 define the age of juvenile justice, which is 16 to 18 year. Uh, 18 year. Now we want to tell in a present scenario what was the juvenile and why should treated juvenile as an adult. We uh, we we saw that in present scenario time has been changed. uh, Time has been changed and it is a time of change. We can see that everything is changing around over the world. Life, including lifestyle, health, crime, etc. We also see that something changes in our personality uh, perspective, and also in verbal and non-verbal communication. So why should not be treated juvenile as an adult? There are many cases like Nirbhaya gang rape, which is 2012, and Hyderabad rape case. There was a five minor which rape a 17-year-old girls, and a recent case was a Pune car accident. There was a minor present in article in IPC in IPC section 83 general exception. There was given a concept of Dolly capex, which is said that 7 to 12-year minor child can be treated as a crime, treated as a accused when it is so. We saw the maturity of that child and understanding of that child when we saw 7 to 12-year age. Then when we also consider 16 or below the age of 18 year as a juvenile crime. So in my opinion, juvenile should be treated as an adult for a heinous crime like a rape, culpable homicide, theft, robbery, murder, etc. Thank you.
Okay,
1 second.
thank you, Mansi. Do you want to go for a rebuttal round?
No, thanks.
Okay, thank you. I would like to I would like to say to Tanishka, please start.
Okay, myself Tanisha Shakyan, and I am a BA first year student, and I am against that a minor should be tried as an adult in Juvenile Justice Act. So there are some chances where we are judging some amount of the students, some amount of child on the behalf that they are committing a particular crime. So there are some types show that transferring a child to an adult system has failed to prevent the repeated offences, failed to reduce the juvenile crime rate, and failed to produce the promote the public safety. We are talking about the Nirbhaya case. So basically, there was only one person who is a minor, around the 6 months. So in 2013, we are according by the with the matlab, excuse me. Okay. So on the behalf of Nirbhaya case, we are judging the whole whole the children which are comes under the minor. They are in India. There are 472 millions of the children, and the crime rate for the juvenile is 1.2%. So basically, we are judging the whole community of the child on the basis of one case. And I'm not talking about that we are not we just free them or release them by not giving any type of punishment to them. But I'm just saying that we can't give a trial under the adult code, because this is basically harming our generation. Because in the age between 16 to 18 years, the only youth, the adolescent age, they influence easily. So basically, if we want them to growth, if we want a growth in our country, if we want to be improve the situation, because trying them in an adult code doesn't prove that they are doing well in future. because according to this, they are just increasing our cases, increasing our juvenile cases. And let me take the example of one case. Okay, there is a US study that states that establishment of 80% of juvenile released from the adult provision go to the crimes, commit more serious offenses, do treating as a child. This way, jailing children for a life is neither in the best interest of the child nor in that of our society as well. So there should be a proper implementation of our existing provision of rehabilitating children in the conflicts with the law instead of shrugging off them to the responsibility by holding the children responsible for the failure of juvenile rehabilitation system. Basically, in our government, they are just using that word कि, juvenile should be treated as an adult. But if we are start treating them as an adult, they are using that if they start treating them as an adult, so basically they are using that as a defense. Uh, they are using that as a they are start doing more such crimes. In fact, in our generation, they in 2013 after the Nirbhaya case, we are going to arrest all the children who are committed the accused in the case of murder and the rape. There are only 2.7% that are accused in the case of murder and 3.5. On the basis of this data, we are judging whole the community of 472 parts of 72 millions of the children. We are just providing them as a juvenile, so we are giving them. They all are liable to pay they all are liable to come under the adult trial. Basically, I'm just saying that treating a juvenile under the adult court is not a correct option because they are not because this is not a case that decreasing our crime rate, our rape cases, nothing like that. Only they are just using that. Mm, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Tanishka. Okay, thank you, Tanishka. You can exit the meeting.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Bye.
So judges, it's time for slot two, and in slot two, I think the participants are present.
ओके ठीक है
Okay,
शुरू करते हैं
okay, sir. So firstly, Monica, you will proceed, but before proceeding, I would like to ask you for opening your camera.
अपने नाम के साथ आप अपना यूनिट नंबर भी जरूर बताइएगा मोनिका
Monica, before starting, I would like to ask you, would you go for a rebuttal round or not?
Yes.
Okay. If you're going for a rebuttal round, then you are only provided with 4 minutes, and after that, you are provided only with 15 seconds to conclude your debate. Okay, you can start now, Monica.
Good afternoon, sir. Today, I'm Monica. I am from Code 19, going for the motion that juveniles should be tried and sentenced just like adults. So, to start with, I would like to say that it is said that time heals the wounds, but I do not agree with this because there are some scars left over there. We are here to talk about whether the juveniles who are engaged in juvenile delinquency should be how they should be treated. First of all, who is a juvenile? A juvenile is a person who is below 18 years of age and has committed an offense which would be considered as a crime if it would have been done by an adult. But because of that legal age 18 years, which is considered as a blanket over his heinous crimes, he is prevented from it. Why we are considering it as a mistake of that juvenile who has done the thing which would make any other person or an adult go for a high punishment just because they are bound to make mistake at this age. But what about the victims? What about their sufferings? The age factor, can it cut down the sufferings and the unwanted brutality of a victim?
as the American psychologist has said, B.F. Skinner, American psychologist B.F. Skinner has said that the juvenile delinquent does not feel his disturbed mind, just like an intelligent person does not feel his intelligence, or an introvert person does not feel his introversion. In the same sense, we can say that we cannot apprehend a juvenile's mind, what is going on in their mind. We can take, be it the example of the Nirbhaya case, where the juvenile accused was set release after the 3-year rehabilitation with 10,000 rupees and a swing machine to re-enter the society and reintegrate with them, or be it the world's youngest killer from Bihar, who just killed three kids at the age of 8 years. We can see multiple cases, pile of cases are there. We have this Pradyumna Thakur case, where the 16-year-old old boy, just to postpone his examinations, he just killed a 7-year-old old boy. And the recent incident we have seen, the post driving minor driver just killed two youths because of his negligent driver. And what the High Court has done, High Court just quashed the order of the remand of those juveniles. So what we are seeing in our country, section
Monica,
15
your time is
read.
over. Monica, I will
Okay,
repeat, your time is over. Now you have only
so
15 seconds to
just
conclude.
I'll just conclude that yesterday, if there is a crime, it is today of psychological illness. Yesterday, if there is a criminal, it is a shameless, it is a unnamed patient. But yesterday, it is a sin, then it is a shameless trend today. Let's not follow that shameless trend, and let's proceed towards a better, safe India. Thank you so much, sir.
Okay, now Anshika, it's your time. But before that, would you like to go for a rebuttal round?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you know the rules very clearly, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you can start.
Good afternoon to one and all present over here. Myself, Anshika Sharvastava, and I'm going to speak on the topic: should juvenile offender be tried and sentenced as adults for serious crime? And I'm going to speak against the motion. So, first of all, in context of India, according to Juvenile Justice Act amended in 2015, who is a juvenile? Three categories of juvenile are written in the Juvenile Justice Act. First is child, who are considered below the age of 18 years. Second, adolescent, who are between age of 16 to 18 years. And third category is children below the age of 16 years. These categories are important to understand the treatment and rehabilitation process. So, to start off, one key point to consider is that the cognitive and emotional development of juveniles. Scientific research have shown that the adolescent brain is not fully developed, especially in the field of impulse control and decision making. So they are not in the age of understanding the consequences of their action. This lack of maturity can lead juveniles to make poor decisions and implications that lead to long-term consequences. Therefore, treating them adult in the legal justice system will not might not consider the developmental factor. Also, the focus should be on the rehabilitation and providing the young offenders with the necessary support and guidance rather than from focusing on the punishment. Also, there is an argument that juveniles are let go easily without much consequences. That is not literally true. As as the juveniles of serious crimes, they are kept in correctional homes with the hopes of rehabilitating them. However, there have been reports that these homes are disastrous. They are forced to live in inhumane conditions. Despite this, the juveniles are forced to serve severe time in adult prisons. Also, there is a possibility that the juvenile's futures uh, can be uh, in what I can say, their future can be uh, in danger if they will try it in the adult court,
as the criminals. Also, in conclusion, I would like to say that trying and just sentencing juvenile offenders as adults for serious crimes fails to consider their developmental differences, limits their potential for rehabilitation, and can have long lasting negative consequences for their future. It is a crucial approach to juvenile justice with a focus on understanding and addressing the root cause for their behavior and providing appropriate interventions and giving them a chance to reform and contribute positively to society. It will let them to correct their mistakes and be a productive member of the society. Thank you.
Thank you, Anshika. Now, teachers, I would like to inform you that it's a time for rebuttal round. And in rebuttal round, both the participants will be provided only 1 minute. So, Monica, first you will can proceed.
So I would like to ask my opponent. She mentioned the first point about the maturity, that they have not attained maturity. But as per the CBSE guidelines, it is written that a 14-year-old is mature enough to give 10th class questions. If he can solve tough questions of physics, chemistry, or any subject, then why he cannot decipher between good and evil?
I would like to say that in the Juvenile Justice Act, it is written that the offenders between the age of 16 to 18 years can be tried as an adult for heinous crimes. The seriousness of the crime varies case to case. As in Nirbhaya case, it was very serious crime, and the offender should be tried as an adult rather than trying him as a juvenile and just letting him go. I also agree on that point that the Nirbhaya case was a very serious case and the offender should be tried as an adult. But it's not the case in every case. The juveniles lack cognitive maturity and they are under peer pressure or we can say the circumstances of the uh, child is different in every case.
Okay, thank you, Anshika. And thank you, Monica, to you too. Now, Anshika, it's your time. You can start.
I would like to ask you that if a child uh, who is 8 to 9 year of age uh, doing any murder of any child, should he be sentenced as an adult or he be given another chance to focus on his career or learn from his mistakes?
To answer that, I would like to say that he should be given a chance, but in a way that is not harmful for the society. If we just release him in the society, it will be harmful for the safety of the public as well. Plus,
Recently, there was a case where a first class boy had killed his fellow classmate by the gun. So, according to you, should he be tried as an adult or not? Because he
Anshika,
was only in first class.
Anshika, I would like to inform you that your 1 minute is over. So please let Monica complete the answer.
so, may I should answer?
Yeah, Monica, you can proceed.
See, it depends on the society as well. It depends on the parents' upbringing as well. I know that we cannot, the courts cannot just punish him as an adult, but they can try other measures as well. They cannot just release him like just he has committed a petty offense only. It is a very big loss to a family. Also, we have to see from the victim perspective as well. It is a very big loss for a victim's family or a victim as well. So I would like to say that maybe he cannot be tried or sentenced for 10 years or whatever the punishment is, but may, another measures like he could be restricted in a boundary by the government. We can do that also because the case we have seen that young world's youngest killer, that boy was 8 years old. He killed three people, but when he attained the age of 18 in 2016, he was just released and no one knows where he is now. Maybe he's sitting between us only. How can we know that
Monica, your
he
time
is
is also
not?
over. I would like
Okay.
you to please stop.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. So judges, Anika and Om both are present in the meeting. So Firstly, Anika, it's your chance. I would like to mm, ask you for opening your video. So before proceeding, Anika, I would like to ask you, would you go for a rebuttal round? Anika, please unmute yourself.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I think you know the rules of the rebuttal round that you will be provided only 4 minutes if you are choosing the rebuttal round. Okay.
Okay, that's fine. Shall I proceed?
Yeah, your time starts now.
Good afternoon to respected judges and my dear fellow participants. My viewpoint on this very topic is yes, juvenile offenders should be tried as and sentenced for as adults for serious crimes. First of all, my perspective of a juvenile is a person that who doesn't understand what is right and wrong, and it's not able to judge what is morally or ethically wrong or right. But in spite of knowing or understanding the crime that he has been committing, uh, he can understand that he's morally wrong, but he's committing that crime in spite of knowing all this thing. And he's not only committing the crime towards the society, also he's not understanding that just because he's a juvenile. With that excuse, he cannot escape from the capital or rigorous punishment that the heinous crime that he's been committing. For example, in the case of Nirbhaya 2012, the most heinous crime that was being committed by was of a juvenile. He just literally had inserted the rod in the private organs and took with his bare hands the intestine of the private organs of the Nirbhaya. So he was entitled for the most rigorous punishment of his crime, but he just escaped just because he was 2 months or 3 months away from the from being a major, so or for being an adult. And one more case is that of Barun Chandra Thakur versus the Central Bureau of Investigation 2017, the Ryan International case, famously known as that. The 16-year-old boy just killed a 7-year-old boy just because he didn't wanted to give an exam. So he was also tried for that as a as an adult, because the verdict came from the Supreme Court that he should be tried for that most heinous crime that he's been committing. That's it.
Okay, thank you, Anika. You still have 1 minute if you want to speak. But if not, then we will ask Om to proceed.
No, ma'am, I've concluded. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Anika. Now, Om, it's your time. Please turn on your camera. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So, Om, would you like to go for a rebuttal round?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, you
Shall I
can
proceed?
start. Yes.
Okay, ma'am. Are the architect of the future. A very good afternoon to one and all present over here, and a happy Independence Day to all. I, Om Mishra, student of Lucknow Christian Degree College, is going to speak against the motion for the topic, which is, should juvenile be tried as an adult and sentenced as an adult in the serious crime? Before coming to my point, let me address the factor which is prominently important and which is prudently also important. That is, what is the age of juvenile? It is 7 to 18 years old. So 7 to 18-year-old children do not have a rational mind. They do not have a brain which is fully developed. They do not have an impulse control on their decision making. They do not have a correct decision making power. They can even not identify which is right or which is wrong. They do not have a rational mindset. They are easily influenced, and they are prone to influence by anyone. What if 8 years old does a hideous crime? Are we going to give the same sort of punishment to which we are giving to the 40 years old man? Is it correct? Is it justifiable? For trying them as adult, it is most important that they have to be mature. They have to be understanding. But unfortunately, which they lack. The long term of what does the long term consequences which face that is that
Wait for a
career would
minute,
be
Om.
finished. As I was talking about the mental health, that is going to be totally tarnished. These kind of children have their whole life in them with them, and we can address the issue that If this decision is going to be implemented, this would create a disproportionate impact in the society, because the poor, the weaker, the marginalized section would be the easily target, because they are the one who do not have any power, they do not have any authority or source of money to which they can protect themselves. So the thing which would most going to affect is that to the poor and marginalized section, the increase in the recidivism is going to increase, as the kind of guilt which an individual should have after committing a crime, that would not be same. No, they would not have any kind of guilt, or kind of so we can say that a guilt sort of a sense that they have done a hideous crime, because they're going to develop a toxic mentality because of the brutal punishment which they are going to be get offered. Instead of punishment, we should focus on the rehabilitation, not on the punishment, so that their cognitive skills and the emotional stability would be developed. This would make them self introspect, and this would make them a good human being. If we talk about the facts, most juvenile crimes are now non-violent. In 2019, 55% juvenile arrests were non-violent offenses. They were based on thefts and other kind of disorderly conceits. If we are going to notify the other fact, which is the decline in the juvenile crime rates between 1997 to 2019, the one of in the studies we have find that the major cause of the juvenile crime is because of the mental instability, which is 70% of the juveniles who are accused of being doing a hideous crime are mentally unstable. Now, if we are going to identify the reason behind juvenile crime, the prudent reason would be that the bad upbringing by their parents. Yes, the toxic environment which they have lived is totally intolerable for a child, and the mental health would also be affected. The lack of sex education among the children is making them more and more to do this kind of hideous crime like rapes. The mental instability which they have is the prominent and the prudent factor for which is responsible for this. It is totally responsible for it is totally responsibility of the parents to teach the moral values and to address the issue, address their children. If we are going to talk about the Pune Posh tragedy, if we are going to talk about the Nirbhaya incident, the accused, the minor man who was accusing himself that he was minor, was actually a 19-year-old child,
Your time
and
is
he
over.
was okay, ma'am. I would just like to conclude my statement that this decision should not be implemented, and the rehabilitation should be the major focus. Thank you, Jai Hind.
Okay. Thank you, Om. Om, I would like to tell you, Om and Onika, both you are requested to please on your videos. Okay, so I would like to inform both the participants that so I would like to tell both the participants that as Monica wants the rebuttal round, Om, you have to be present for the rebuttal round. So
Yes.
whatever she is asking, you have to answer that. And if
Okay,
you
ma'am.
want, you can counter question Monica too.
Okay, ma'am. And I would like to
And
apologize that I was not able to listen because of the network issue. Sorry, I totally apologize for
it's
that.
okay, Om.
Sorry,
So
ma'am.
Monica, firstly, you it's your time to ask the question, and you have only 1 minute.
Okay, ma'am.
So my question is very simple. You have heard about the RAM International case, I think.
Yes, that
Yes, that yes, Pradyuman case. He was the person, the accused was the person of a
I would like to
16-year-old
stop
boy.
both the parties.
So
Okay.
that accused was 16-year-old boy, and he killed the 7-year-old boy just because he wanted that the exam should be cancelled or postponed. And he did it with a mindset that he was predetermined that his exam should be cancelled. And he came with that motive only to attack that person or any person. It was just random. So he knew that it was intentional, that he was going to kill a person. He was not a toddler that he could be just reverted or he could be just instigated out of nowhere. So that's my stance.
My worthy opponent, I would definitely welcome your question, and I would like to answer this that this shows that the 6-year-old standard child is attempting this kind of severe crime. The mindset of that child was totally unstable. This shows that psychological disorder was there inside his mind. If we talk about psychology, then we can see that this kind of hideous crime in the Rayan school, which is considered as one of the best schools,
I'm
is
sorry.
totally
I'm sorry. I'm going to interrupt you in between.
yes.
Hello, am I audible? I'm going to interrupt in between. That accused was of 16-year-old, not 6-year-old. Okay. So
Monica,
he
I
knew
would
he was
like
just
to tell you, Monica, I would like to tell you it's a time given to Om for 1 minute. Please let him complete. After that, you can.
Okay.
See, if whether the boy is 16-year-old and I have told that he's in sixth class or 6-year-old. Okay. If the 16-year-old boy is also doing this kind of crime, then definitely my statements is totally correct, which is according to me that yes, the psychologically disorder was in this situation. If you have studied the situation, the further the accused was found that he was psychologically disordered and he was mentally unstable and he was having a bad and family
I would
environment and a
like
toxic
to
family environment
inform you that the
because of
time is up.
it. Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Okay. So now, it's your turn if you want to ask anything from Monica.
Okay, Anika, my question would be that you have mentioned about the Nirbhaya case. If you have studied in the detail the Nirbhaya case, then you will find that the 19-year-old boy was accusing fakely himself that he was an 18-year-old. He was in late 18s. That's why the Juvenile Justice Act was also passed. Because of which, if you have studied the case thoroughly, then you have understand the prudency of the case, which is that he was fakely accusing himself. I'm also totally supporting the Nirbhaya because I also have sisters. But the fake accusation of his being an late 18s is not at all justifiable. So my question is to you is that what about that he was fakely accusing? The real age was 19 years old.
So if his real age was 19-year-old, then he should be tried as adult, but still he was tried as a minor, as a juvenile. Okay. So and he's now, if we just go with the things, the updation of it, that now he's working at a roadside dhaba. So he's out there in the society to do some kind of a more heinous crime, more than Nirbhaya case. Okay. So that is a person. That person is a threat to society. He should be have gone through some rigorous and a very kind of what do you say? A kind of a very rigorous kind of a punishment he should have been gone through, just to understand that what he has done to that person, just to understand, just to make sure that he should not repeat that thing again.
Monica, your time is over.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
So thank you both the participants. You can leave the meeting.
Thank you, ma'am. Have a nice day, judges. Have a nice day.
Okay, judges, it's almost the time. The time ends. So I think we should proceed with only Shubhanshu. Is that okay, judges?
हाँ आप
Yeah.
proceed कर सकते हैं.
Okay. So unique number of Shubhanshu is 24.
So can I start now?
Yeah. You can start, Shubhanshu.
Yeah, hence, happy Independence Day to the honorable judges and the members joining this session right now. My code is 24, identification code. And as we know, we all are joining this session to discuss, to debate about an issue uh, about which this whole conduct is going to be for, and that is, should juvenile offenders be treated as adults for serious crimes? And I'm going to speak in against of it. In my opinion, juvenile offenders should not be treated as adults. If we let me explain with an example. Hypothetically, if we assume that there is a 14 or 15-year-old boy who involves in a physical fight, and the other side, a 24-year-old boy gets into a physical fight. So the mental status and the mindset of both of them are totally two different things. Because we as a society expect from an adult, from that 24-year-old boy, that he will show some sincerity. But we cannot expect sincerity from a 14 or 15-year-old child, from that minor, because this is a human science. Biologically, the science does not allow a minor of or teenager of 14 or 15-year-old to apply understanding over there. So the urge to kill, the urge to kill in the instincts of a minor is a totally scientific phenomena. And if we if we take recent example, there is a case from Pune where a 17-year-old minor accidentally killed two people while driving his Porsche car, uh, while driving his Porsche car, but the killing is killing, whether it is accidentally or by any other way. And obviously, those people who lost their lives, they and their families must get justice. But in my opinion, that minor is not totally responsible for that crime because because the parents supposed to provide the best upbringing and moral and ethical teachings to their child within the four walls of their home. And they were the parents in this Porsche case. They were the parents who allowed their child to take out car, to drive a car without having a driving license. And they were the parents who never restricted their child from intaking alcohol. So, so according to me, the parents are equally or more responsible for such crimes done by the minor. And according to me, any criminal act done by a minor or a juvenile is an outcome of his or her upbringing. And that is why the juvenile should be tried and sentenced as a juvenile according to the laws of the state. This is all by my side. Thank you, Jai Hind.
Okay, thank you, Subhanshu. As you are being late, Yash, you were only being provided 2.5 minutes. You have to conclude in between that.
Okay.
Your time starts now.
The law must be stable, but it must not stand still. By Roscoe Pound. Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed judges, and worthy opponent. The words of Roscoe Pound while remind us that while the law must be grounded in fairness and justice, it must also evolve to meet the needs of society. Today we are sorry we are confronted with a pressuring issue that demands our attention, whether juvenile offenders should be tried as adults for serious crimes. And I stand firmly in the affirmative, arguing that in cases of serious crimes, the law must adapt to ensure that justice is served. And not just for society, but for the victims whose lives uh, are irreparably altered by these crimes. In recent years, India has witnessed a disturbing increase in juvenile involvement in serious crime. According to the NCRB, the involvement in serious crime for juveniles in 2021 alone was over 35,000 cases, with a significant portion of these cases involving serious offenses such as rape, murder, and commits a heinous crime, whether it is rape, murder, or armed robbery. The impact on the victims and society is no less severe simply because the perpetrator is underage. Even the Juvenile Justice Act of 2015 acknowledges this by saying that juveniles from the age of 16 to 18 are to be tried as adults for heinous crimes as well as the BNS. This provision recognizes that certain crimes are so grave that they necessitate the response that goes beyond the rehabilitative approach typically reserved for juveniles, and to do otherwise would minimize the gravity of the crime and deny
Yes, your
justice to
time
the
is
victims.
over.
Okay.
I would like to inform you that now you have only 15 seconds to conclude.
Okay. In conclusion, the law must evolve to meet the demands of justice. When juveniles commit serious crimes, they must be held accountable in a manner that reflects gravity for their actions. Trying and sentencing juvenile offenders as adults for serious crimes is not just about punishment, it is about ensuring and deterring future crimes,
Yes, your
upholding the
time is
moral fabric
over.
of society. Yeah.
So, Yash and Subhanshu, you can you both want to go for a rebuttal round?
Sure.
And what about you, Subhanshu? Subhanshu, please unmute yourself.
Opponent wants it, I will do that.
Okay. So, firstly, Yash, you can ask Subhanshu. And Subhanshu, you have only 1 minute to answer the question.
Okay. Taking the case of the juvenile in the Nirbhaya case of 2015 and taking the Porsche crash case that happened this year, where a juvenile of age 17 years old killed two people while driving drunk in his father's car. And the juvenile in the Nirbhaya case was released after 3 years in a rehabilitation facility. And the juvenile in this case was released and given bail after mere hours of being captured. Do you think this was just? Do you think this was something that should have been done?
Okay. As we know, the topic is should juvenile be tried as a adult for a serious crime? Of course, rape is also a serious crime, and the murder is also a serious crime, and hit and run is also a serious crime. But the rape is a serious crime and a specific crime. We cannot sentence a juvenile for murder also, because I just said before that the instinct of a 14 and 15-year-old boy, if he gets in if he or she gets involved in a physical fight, the mindset of that teenager is totally different from the adult, and therefore it is a scientific phenomena. The psychology does not allow, the science, the biology does not allow to control the instinct of that teenager who killed somebody. And the Porsche case of the Pune, as you said that, I I said before, I said
Okay,
this before.
Subhanshu, please stop. Your time is over.
Can I
I'm
ask him
sorry,
a follow-up question?
just give me 10 seconds. I'm so sorry. Just give me 10 seconds. That the Porsche case, the teenager, eh, their parents is also liable for that, because it depends on the upbringing and the teachings from the parents. Thank you.
Can I ask him a follow-up question?
Um, no, it's time for Subhanshu to ask.
Okay.
Well, I didn't think that I should ask something, but no, I don't want to ask.
Can I give like, can I like answer like extend on my case, like responding to his response, like for 30 seconds or less?
So can
Judges,
we?
please give us last 1 minute. The last 1 minute,
What?
if you allow. If you don't, we will conclude.
Just give him 30 seconds more.
Okay. Uh, so as you mentioned that this psychology doesn't allow, as a former psychology student, I would like to inform you that that is not the case. And what do you think? Okay, 14 and 15-year-old impulse control, you're saying it's not there. But what about the moral agency of a person? Sure, the cognitive ability to make a logical decision in that case is not there. But what about the moral agency of the child? Is that still not there? What about the 16-year-old in the Nirbhaya case? Did he not have a moral agency to step away or try to stop what was happening? The 17-year-old, the case that I mentioned, was that his not moral agency? Was that not his, like, was he, should he have driven drunk in a in a sports car? By the way, I don't think it was a sports car, but it's a super fast car. Nevertheless, what about the moral agency of the juvenile?
Okay, I will answer for that Nirbhaya case. Specifically, in Nirbhaya case, because that is a rape case, rape and murder. So that juvenile should be sentenced capital punishment. He should get capital punishment. But we are here discussing about the serious crime. What about the other serious crimes? The Pune case is also a serious crime, but I don't think that minor is only responsible for that case. His parents are also liable and responsible for that, because they allowed him without to drive car without driving license. They never restricted him from in taking alcohol. So his parents are also responsible, and the juvenile should be sentenced and tried as the juvenile according as per the laws of the state. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Shubhanshu, and thank you, Yash. You both
Thank you.
can lead the meeting.
आप बहुत अच्छा काम किए हो शैली, रिप्रेजेंटेशन आपने बहुत अच्छा किया एंड
Thank you.
सो अदर्स, ठीक है, तो मैम आपने बहुत अच्छा काम किया। ओके, ऑल द
Thank
बेस्ट फॉर योर फ्यूचर। आप सभी को आपके जो भी आप कर रहे हो डिबेट वगैरह इसी तरह करते रहिए आगे और अच्छे से ऑर्गेनाइज करते रहिए, ठीक है। थैंक यू।
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir.